Hey guys, David here, and I wanted to make this video for you guys who are kind of caught in your business, who are kind of stuck, who are kind of turning your wheels, and wanting to get more production out of your life, but not really knowing how to do it. So this is my video on kind of outsourcing and how I use outsourcing in my business. Let me just show you how long I've been using this. So this site is called Upwork, right? And Upwork used to be called Odesk, and I've had plenty of profiles on Odesk. I've been using outsourcing since I came online, right? So 2013, and you can see that I hired people in 2013 for this, right? And like I said, I had a profile before this, so hiring people back in 2013 for outsourcing, right? So we can go to the next page. I got two pages on here. And then we can see that these are recently, right? 11 days ago, 12 days ago, 12 days ago. We can see the hires over here. And we can go all the way back to where we met the other ones, 2013, 2013, 2013, 2013, 2013, 2014, right? I've been using outsourcing inside of my business for a long time. And the reason is there's income producing activities or things that we should be doing in our business, right? But even inside of those things, small things that we should be doing, there are things in there that are very important, right? Once we know those things, right, and it takes a little bit of time to figure that out, especially if you don't have a mentor. Once we figure out those things, we need to focus on the things inside of those things that make the most money. So for me, inside of my business, coaching clients makes a ton of money. I focus on that. I can't outsource coaching clients. It's not something I can do, right? People pay me money to talk to me and get my insight. I can't pass that off to somebody else. So that's something I have to do in my business. There are other things inside of my business that are very important that I don't do, right? So the reason why I put off kind of making a blog and stuff is because I knew I would have to find writers, right? Because I'm not a blogger. Writing blogs, very important. SEOing those blogs, posting those blogs to your blog, all of that stuff, very important. I'm not the guy to do that. I'm not the guy to write the article. I'm not really good at spelling, and I could be good at spelling, but I'm not going to focus a whole lot of energy on learning how to spell better. If you're on my newsletter, you know I'm a bad speller. It's not a big deal. It's not something that is hindering me or stopping me from doing anything inside of my business. It takes me a little bit of time to write articles, which makes it kind of annoying for me, so I don't write articles. I like vlogging, so I make the videos, I post them on YouTube. That's something I like doing. Pick the things inside of your business that you want to do. A lot of the times, when I get on the phone with a coaching client in the beginning, one of the first questions I ask is, what do you want your life to look like? And they're perplexed. They've never sat down for any amount of time and tried to make their life. They've never sat down and said, hey, a year from now on Tuesday, I want to be doing this. I want my day to be looking like this. I want to go on this many vacations a year. I want to go on this many trips a year. I want to go to this many events a year. They've never sat down and looked at their life like that. And the reason is because they're caught up in this thing that they have to be doing everything. When I work with brick and mortar businesses, a lot of the times those people have this self-employed mentality that no one else can do the job but them, and they have to be doing it because their employees are going to mess it up or it's never going to get done the way that they would have done it. And what that does is it creates a awesomely stressful business because they think that they have to be doing everything, and that's not true. There are people out there, and this may blow your mind. There are people out there who are better at whatever it is that you think that you're good at. That's nuts, right? There are people out there who are better at direct mail than me. There are. I like doing direct mail. I like printing out postcards. And it makes money, and it is an important part of my business as far as printing out the postcards, cutting the postcards, and all of that stuff. I'm not at a point, because of some recent changes I made on how I buy my paper and stuff like that, I'm not at a point where sending out postcards is worth actual money versus time for me, right? It's not a big deal for me to do all the things for my postcards. There is a point when it doesn't make any sense, and I hire someone to do that. Even though it's an income producing activity, Someone else out there, believe it or not, is better at printing, stamping, mailing, and getting out postcards than I am. There are people out there who are better at copywriting than I am. There's people out there who are better at running online businesses than I am. There's people out there who are better at whatever it is that you think that you're good at. And that's what you need to understand. As an entrepreneur, our job is to have the vision and the hindsight, I guess, to see the things that need to be done and take our business to the next level. Whatever that is for you. If it's no leads, 5 leads. If it's no sales, a couple sales. If it's no money, it's $100, right? That next level, whatever it is for you, your job is to see that and figure out a game plan and an action plan to get there. That's your job. It doesn't mean that you have to be doing it. And since someone out there is better at whatever it is than you are, you need to understand that it's okay to let them do it. There are people out there who are better at Facebook marketing than me. I don't do Facebook marketing. But if I was in my business, I needed Facebook marketing for some reason, and I'm not good at it, I would let someone else do it. It's not important, and this is where a lot of people get caught up in this learning phase, right? We don't get paid for learning. We get paid for implementation. We get paid for actually doing things. We don't get paid for thinking things. We don't get paid for good ideas. We don't get paid for anything besides production and getting things done, bringing things to market, sending traffic, putting eyeballs in front of offers, doing webinars. Those are things we get paid to do. We don't get paid to sit here and ponder. All the good ideas inside of your brain with no execution will never do you any good. They won't. Execution is it. It is it. The execution is where people get caught up because they stay in this learning mode where they have to learn all these things because they want to execute, but they have to learn how to do it. They have to learn this. They have to learn that. They have to learn that. Don't learn anything that you don't want to be doing or that you don't want to be good at. There are people who I know who make tons of money every single month who don't do a lot of the things that people think that they should be doing. The one guy in particular who I'm thinking about, he makes a ton of money, right? His blog is written for him. His traffic is outsourced to a couple different CPA networks who are actually doing, 99.9% of all of his advertising for him. His blogs and everything else like that is set up through his virtual assistant, and he barely gets on the phone maybe once a month with anyone about business or about anything else, and he loves his life. That's the life he wanted to live, and he's living it. You can set your business up just like that, or you can set your business up where you do more things, but you shouldn't be stressed out over doing anything in your business or getting anything done when there are sites like this where people who will work for $4 or $5, right? And you can get things done. Even when I didn't have a ton of money, I was using sites like this to get my stuff done because I knew it had to be done. Had a virtual assistant who could sort calls and take calls when I wasn't taking calls, right? So that everyone was getting talked to and everything inside of my business was getting done, that the follow-up was getting done. I knew how important follow-up was. I just knew I didn't have time to follow up. At that point in time, I had a job and I was going to work every single day. I didn't have time to follow up with people. I was busy making phone calls in the morning, on my lunch breaks, and at night and all that stuff, so I didn't have time to follow up with those people. But I knew that it needed to be done, so I just hired somebody to do it. And give me 1 second. I just want to open the screen up, and then I will go into how you actually set this up and everything. All right, I'm back. So what you do is you go to freelancers, you find freelancers, right? You can set up your jobs, and you can just post a job, but what I like to do is find people before I start a job. So I'm just going to walk you through how I would set something up, and this is recently how I set up. So I'm coming out with a blog. I'm not a great blogger for reasons I talked about earlier with the spelling and whatnot. Not going to write my articles. So what I did was I went inside of here, or you can go inside of here. I actually got my writer from somewhere else. What I like to do, and I like to do 90% job success because that means 90% of the time it goes through. I don't really worry about money because I'm willing to pay for people who are, awesome at what it is that they do. I do want over 1,000 hours billed. I think that's a big number, and I think that people who are actually able to work that many hours on here, and successfully with high reviews, that those people are the best for what it is that I want to do. Last activity, I want to see people who are on here within the last 2 weeks so that I know that they're still active. And this languages is really important. If I'm writing a blog, right, and we're looking for a writer and you want them to write in English, it's better to hire someone who's a native English speaker. And you want to keep that in mind with whatever it is that you're doing. If you're doing a book and you want your book, you can go on here and have your book uploaded to somebody, and then they can download it and then put it in a different language, right? So if you wanted a book made and you are an English speaker but you wanted it made in Chinese, you could go on here and find someone to do that for you. All you would do is select languages and make sure that that person was a native Chinese speaker, right? Because if they speak English pretty good but they speak Chinese really well, I think that they can fill in the gaps, my thinking. So with blogging, right, and articles, how we're trying to find someone right now in this little mock-up, what you need to understand is that if you have an English blog, you want an English native speaker. So you want someone from the UK, if you're from the UK. You want someone from North America if you're from North America. And the reason is mannerisms, right? So in different cultures, they say different words, and different words can mean different things. One thing that is good in one culture is bad in another one. So those little things and idiosyncrasies within the language, you kind of want those, right? Americans speak different than people from the UK or people from Australia or people from New Zealand, right? Or Ireland. It's all pretty much the same English, give or take, right? But those people have different mannerisms, say different things. So you want to make sure that the people that you're talking to, if you want them to be writing something or translating something into a language or whatever it is, you want that language to be native to them, right? That's all I was trying to say. So you can work with independent people or you can work with agencies. I prefer independent freelancers. So those are really the checks that I would do, and those are the filters that I would add to find people. So I would do over 90% success rate, over 1,000 hours, active within the last 2 weeks. And then I would change the language. If I needed them to write something, I would make sure that they were a native speaker for the language and the place that I was wanting them to write the articles for. If I'm American, I want them to be American. If I'm Canadian, I want them to be Canadian, etc., etc. And that's pretty much it. I just hire these people. When you click on a name, and I've never used this guy before, just looking at his profile and everything. He has a 98% success rate, over 1,069 hours, 103 jobs, right? And you can see that he's a writer, right? He talks about writing. He's been hired for writing. What you want to look for a little bit is you'll see people who are like, they'll say that they do one thing, but they've been hired for something completely different. You just want to keep that in mind. So you can see that he's been writing he had a job for an ebook, right? Ebook, blog post, short ebook, right? And then you can see the amount of hours, right? How many jobs are still ongoing. And this is what I would do. And especially with Odesk, it's really cool because I'll get them on here and then we'll talk through Skype. For the American people or the people in countries where I need to actually be on the phone, I'll pick up the phone and call them. And this is really how I've been getting stuff done since, like you saw, like 2003, but it really was, 2012-ish, with the other profiles, and this is how I get stuff done. I'm never stuck. If I bang my head against the wall for more than, 2 minutes, I go to Odesk and I try to figure out who can do it. I don't get caught up in any one single activity. I make sure that whatever it is that I've visionized or saw with vision and clarity and all that stuff, I just go and do that. I just focus on doing that, and I find the people who can help me do those things, and I put them in place, and then that's it. So like right now, my SEO person is working with my my person who's working on my website, and they are communicating in a group on Skype, and I have nothing to do with it. Right? I go in the group, I monitor what's going on, I make sure that the site is coming along, and that's it. That's how I'm getting my blog written. That's how I'm getting my blog made, right? And SEO'd and everything like that. I'm not doing it. So I hope this video helped you guys out. If you would like to work with me, click the link below, but definitely go get a